Okay, so the second goal of this section is to find the present value. There's two ways of doing this. There is a formula for present value. I will show you that in 2 pages. I am not a huge fan of memorizing a bunch of extra formulas. So what I like to do is I like to think about that the present value simply means we are solving for P. So if you think about what P represents the beginning amount. So basically that's saying today, what is this amount worth? And then A would represent the end amount at the end of that compounding period. So when you're thinking about P, yes, you think about it as the principal, you think about it as that beginning amount, but you can also think about P as the present value, where we're thinking about today what I'm depositing, how much that would cost. Now, or how much that would be in an X amount of time. So the easiest way I think to find the present value is simply to solve for that P variable because P does represent that present value. So if you look at this question below, it says find the present value. So when you see find the present value, that means we are trying to find P. That's the question. Now, they also say that the $9,000 is payable at the end of 2 years. So that means that this 9,000 quantity, that is at the end of the time period. So the 9,000 isn't what you're depositing today, it's what you're getting at the end of those 2 years. So that means that A would be equal to the 9,000. And then of course the time would be the 2 years. And then it also says that the interest rate is 3%. So my R value would be 0.03. Now, it does indicate that it's compounded continuously, so that tells us that we're using the Pert formula. So we start off, and all of these questions that are asking for present value will be a Pert question, so you can kind of assume that, but again, in the real world, you wouldn't necessarily be able to assume that. So it says continuously, so we know we're using Pert. The 9,000 is payable at the end of 2 years. So that means the 9,000 is the A value. The present value is what we're trying to find. And then we have E raised to the R, which is 0.03 times 2, which is our time. So take a minute before I say anything more and ask yourself, how would you solve for that variable P?